Hey, fifth graders, it's Mr. Headington. I'm not at school today, but I wanted to pass along our lesson today via video instead of having our teachers that are helping out today deal with it. So a couple things I want you to know as we're finishing up our human growth development unit. We have been working on this for a few weeks. Some of you kind of know most of what's in our topics that we've had, and we're kind of moving on to a couple things today that you might be kind of interested in. And just want to do a quick review before we move on with what you're going to need to know for today. So starting off, puberty, hopefully you aren't frightened like these kids are. It's going to be a normal part of your life for the next 10 years or so. My expectations are still the same, whether it's with your guest teacher or another teacher that's in the building. Just make sure that you are following the green list over here today and every day. And a reminder to you that at the end of our unit, talk about these things with people that you trust, and don't be sharing things that are kind of maybe a little bit too much for the younger kids to know. We started off learning about the stages of the life cycle. Hopefully you remember that. The book Love You Forever was kind of a popular one that a lot of kids had seen before. I enjoy that book too. As we move on, kind of what you should have known already about what is puberty, why do you have to go through it, how long will it take, who starts first, what changes will happen to the body, what changes are going to happen to your physical, mental, and social health. Hopefully we answered some of those for you during the last few weeks. Why is it good that you're growing up? Well, it's more than just physical changes. It's kind of growing up and learning to be a grown up, and some of the accomplishments that all of you are going to have in the next 10 years of your life is going to be fun. And hopefully you take it so that you are wanting to be a productive adult and having fun as an independent person as an adult. Puberty starts in the pituitary gland, and it's the signal to tell your body when to start. The hormones in the body, many of them have nothing to do with puberty, but still are very important. The parts that you have related to your reproductive system also create the hormones that cause the changes during puberty. So testosterone for boys, estrogen for girls, and kind of combinations thereof kind of help with puberty. But the other things, all kind of other life things that happen too. That story about the world's tallest man was interesting. I find it fascinating, but also kind of a sad story. If you hadn't had a chance to watch that, it's back in one of your Google Classroom assignments from a few weeks ago. That is kind of an interesting story. Physical changes that you should have known from before about growth spurt, acne, body hair, body odor, voice changes, and mood swings are all things you're going to experience. And it's just things you kind of have to learn to deal with. If you're doing a good job, hopefully it minimizes some of the issues that come up. And even as an adult, some of these things are still going on. Physical changes that we learned about specific to being your gender. For males, it's the changes that are happening over here. Females, changes happening over here. But some of these changes could happen to both boys or girls or men and women as they go through puberty and on into their adult life. The pimples and acne issues kind of relate to some hygiene stuff too. The body odor stuff you can take care of. The acne you can minimize, but generally you get it and you just got to learn to deal with it. If you haven't had a chance to talk about the hygiene stuff, hopefully your teachers aren't reminding me in a few weeks that we need to have the deodorant talk again. That'll be something when springtime comes, you'll need to start paying much more attention to as we get into the warm weather again. Anything related to shaving, I don't remember if we talked about it in every class, but just kind of thinking about like when you're brushing your teeth, you're using your own toothbrush. Razors, kind of the same way. Don't share razors with other family members. If you are going to be shaving, kind of get your own, learn how to use it safely, and know that the products that are available to help minimize the nicks and scrapes and cuts and so on are there to help all of us. Hygiene, I'm going to kind of skip over for now until later. Reproductive system stuff we talked about last week. Not trying to rush through it, but just wanted to get to the point where we're learning about the sperm cell, egg cell, which is going to lead to our topics today that are going to be pretty interesting. Egg cells being fairly large, but still fairly small, no bigger than a grain of sand. And those little sperm cells are the teeniest, tiniest cells of all human beings. So egg cells from the woman's body, sperm cells from the man's body contribute into making a new human being. If you didn't get a chance to watch the video from last week on that one, that was an interesting one. It's animated. That is also in one of your previous assignments that I have given you. So today we're getting into some of the stuff about how you ended up being a boy or girl. A couple brain pop videos I left for you on there. So the first one you're going to watch is about gender determination, or it's titled sex determination. In this case, sex relates to whether, what gender you were born as. And I'll ask you, or you'll see a few questions on the review quiz about, who is responsible for you being male or female? Is it the mother or the father? You'll find out later. Then we'll move on to stuff about twins or triplets or quadruplets or quintuplets or whatever we got here. But how do you get multiple babies, and how do some babies look so much alike as identical twins versus some that are fraternal twins? You can get combinations of boy and boy, girl and girl, boy and girl, and thereof, and you'll learn more about that in the Brain Pot video as well. I don't know if we get to this week, but I'll review to it after our Zoom talks later next week on genetic stuff, like how you kind of have certain characteristics that you got from your mother or your father. Maybe there's things that you can't do, like rolling your tongue. Those are all genes that are passed down through from your generations before you that you might have. So things like eye color and hair color could also be part of that too. So as we kind of go through, I'll cover this one next week as well. There's just kind of a little chart here with different things like, the shape of your hairline, dimples that you have on your face, or like a cleft chin, like a dimple on your chin, color of your hair, whether you have freckles or not, color of your eyes, even the shape of your earlobes are all determined by your genes. A few pictures there I'll come back to another time. Exit questions I'm not going to do today, but here's the slideshow you're going to get on your Google Classroom stuff. And so what you're going to do is you're going to click on the link. And then if you're a Royal Oaks kid, you'll use the Royal Oaks Prairie Pop 1 for your, move myself out of the way, for your login, or you could go through the class code if you had it before. Northside, it's Northside Prairie Pop 1 for yours. First video on gender determination, second video is on twins and multiple babies, and third video is on genes, like those kind of characteristics or qualities that you have that are related back to what you got from your parents. Finally, today, just want to do a quick preview of Monday, December, almost said November 19th, in the afternoon in your classroom, not for health, but it'll be a health topic. You are going to log into the Zoom talks. And if you were here in fourth grade, you did this with us last year. There are 3 choices. Generally, it's 2. You choose which is most appropriate for you. So if you only want to learn about the males and boys kind of stuff, that's on this link. If you want to learn about the girls only, that's the female link here. And I think for a lot of 5th graders, they might choose the both one, or they get to learn more about both boys and girls stuff related to puberty. And each one of these Zoom talks will take about an hour. It's live. What you're going to do is you're going to have your Chromebook ready, your headphones plugged in, and find your own personal space in your classroom. And our expectations for our Zoom talks is going to be, 1, you keep your video off the entire time. So you don't need to have your camera on so that you're making funny faces or things like that. No one's really going to see much. But and second, new this year, you're going to change your name. So don't put whatever goofy name. You're not going to put Godzilla or whatever is going to be on there. And you're going to change your name to your initials and your school. So Miss Scullin, who's a teacher over at Eastside, she's switching her name to Eastside MS, not for middle school, but for Miss Scullin. For Royal Oaks kids, you would put, I'm okay with you putting RO for Royal Oaks and whatever your initials are. Northside, same thing, NS and whatever your initials are. And that's your name for the Zoom talk. Then if you have questions at any time, use the Zoom chat. And if we have it set up right, the Zoom chat will only go to the host. It will not be something that kids can view. And be patient. Only ask your question one time in the Zoom chat, and we'll get to as many as we can. Generally, the question and answer time is the last 10 or 15 minutes of the session. And if we have lots of questions, we may not get to everything. If we have a few questions, then we usually get to most. But again, if you don't have all your questions answered, you're more than welcome to ask me as we get back in person again, or your other trusted adults in life, like your parents and other teachers. Teachers will do their best to answer any questions you have, but realize that some questions might be things that we can't talk about at school. and we'll kind of pick and choose the ones that are most appropriate for our topics we're covering. Finally, if you have any issues with connectivity on things, just need to be patient. Sometimes the Zoom stuff gets a little goofy. And also, I'm really hoping that I don't get any reports back from your classroom teachers during that or after that Zoom that you were disruptive or inappropriate at any time. Really, this is a good time for all of us to kind of review with you what we hope you want to know, what you need to know, so that you can get through your puberty years. So today, just take your time to do the 3 videos from BrainPop. Ms. Tollickson will be coming around, or Mr. Whalen at Royal Oaks, to help with anything you're having difficulty with getting in. I'm not requiring any response. I might do one response in the Google Classroom thing. So when you finish with this video, you're going to go to Google Classroom, look for the link for the videos, and complete the videos that are there. Hope everyone has a great day. We'll see you next week. See some of you on Monday during the Zoom, and see the rest of you during class on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Thanks very much. Have a wonderful day.